Well, joining me now is historian David Eisenbach. David, thanks for your time. Jimmy Carter, an extraordinary life, the 39th President of the United States and a Nobel Prize winner. He came from humble beginnings. He was a peanut farmer that became president. What comes to mind for you when you think of him and his legacy?
Well, I think about the idea of it. He's kind of a thought experiment. What happens when you put a genuinely decent, honest man with a great intellect and detail-oriented in the White House? Americans think that they want a truly honest man. This man promised not to tell them a lie. He didn't. And it didn't actually go well for him as a presidency.
Yeah, so you touched on some of the issues that he faced as a president. He was plagued by a struggling economy, high inflation, the Iran hostage crisis. He himself said that he struggled to show to the American people that he was a strong leader. Do you think that he was almost unfairly remembered for issues that were perhaps out of his control?
Absolutely. The 1970s were a tough time to be the president of the United States. Issues like the price of oil and the inflation were beyond the control of the president. And yet Jimmy Carter tried to explain that to the American people on numerous occasions, but they kept on blaming him. And so he kind of got a bad rap for not being able to control things that were out of his control.
Just talk to us about his legacy once he left the White House. Of course, he won that Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. He served so many people. His work impacted the lives of millions. Just talk to us about his legacy once he left the White House.
Absolutely. Once he left the White House, it was kind of a continuation of his work as president. We often forget his bringing together of Anwar Sadat and Menachem Begin in 1978 to hammer out a peace deal between Egypt and Israel. That was world historic. And he continued that into his post-presidential career, both as a diplomat and working at home, building homes for people with Habitat for Humanity.
In the decades to come, how do you think he'll be remembered by history?
I think he's going to become more and more favorable. I think that idea of, complete honesty. He promised in 1976 when he was running, I will never lie to you, the American public. Turns out maybe they want to be lied to. Maybe they want to be told they're great. Everything is fine. The problem is government, rather than getting the honest truth. I think we're ready for the truth right now. I think more and more the next generations are going to appreciate that he was genuinely honest with Americans. He told them when they were wrong, when they needed to be told they were wrong.
I just want to read to you now part of two statements that have been made by the current President Joe Biden and the incoming President Donald Trump. I'll start with Biden. Part of his statement says, "Today, America and the world lost an extraordinary leader, statesman and humanitarian." Donald Trump said, "The challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for our country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude." Do you think, in this divided political climate, what was it about Jimmy Carter that garnered so much respect from both sides?
I think it was the honesty. In 1979, he gave a speech. It went down to be known as the Malaise speech, but it was actually called the Crisis of Confidence, in which he told the Americans that you can't just blame the president and the presidency for the troubles around you, that we have to take individual responsibility, and then we have to understand that there are bigger forces beyond the presidency, and that we don't have to give up our lives to materialism. He kind of lectured America on how we've sacrificed former principles and have filled our lives with materialism, and that's never going to make us truly happy or confident. And to hear that from a president today, it almost seems unimaginable.
All right, David Eisenbach, historian, thanks so much for your time, for joining us and for your insights today.
Thank you very much.